Hey guys, what's going on? So, trying out a new mic here, see if this will work a little bit better for some of these videos. Glad you could join me. Today we're getting ready for a wedding tomorrow. Today is Friday. But one of the things I wanted to do, that I wanted to make a video about today, was a little bit of equipment modification. So I haven't talked about some of the equipment modifications we've done in the past, because we've done a lot of it. Anytime we have problems with things, I mean, we're trying to do a lot of what we do on somewhat of a budget, because most people don't have the ability to go out and spend $20,000 on a PA setup or something like that. We're normal people as well. We have to make the best about what we have. So one of the things that we're doing today is I'm going to talk a little bit about the subwoofers that we run. So these are the Carvin LS1802s. I've got both of them here. I've kind of shown you about these in the past a little bit. A little dark to see here. I don't have the best lighting here in the garage. But they're excellent subwoofers. They are dual 18s. Kind of show you here on the side panel here a little bit. Well, I don't have good light, do I? So these, like I said, these are the LS1802s. They are a 4 ohm cab. They can handle 1,000 watts continuous, 2,000 program, and 4,000 peak. They have a built-in internal crossover, but I'm not using that. The crossovers, it's fine, but I externally crossover electronically, so I don't use the one that's built in, because it's just more loss in the system and more heat generated, and it's just another piece of the puzzle that I don't really want to include unless I have to. Plus, I like to be able to vary my crossovers too, based on the type of music I'm playing, the room, things like that. So that's a built-in crossover. I don't know where the crossover is at. Probably around 120, I would guess. But that's just an educated guess on that. But see, this one's facing the light. You'll be able to see it a little bit better. So like I said, these are dual 18s. You can see the woofers there. 2 of them. It is a ported box. So they are clean. They're actually pretty small. In the realm of dual 18s, they're not that big. I mean, here's my hand on it. They're not that big. They're about 100 pounds a piece. But with the dual carry handles on both sides, these are actually pretty comfortable, and they're actually not that bad to carry with 2 people. Carrying it by yourself is a little awkward, but that's why you get you a dolly or something like that to get them around by yourself. But yeah, 2 people makes it really easy, actually. But what I'm going to do with these today is, one of the things I don't like about it is they're kind of hard to get around, like I said, especially with one person. And sometimes we are doing gigs and stuff like that with just one person. So one of the things I wanted to do was to add some casters to these. Now, we use these at a lot of different places and in a lot of different ways. One of the ways we use them is sometimes at bigger events, like you've seen in the past if you've watched my videos. We'll take 6 of these and array them across on their sides. Some of the gigs we end up putting them, we'll stack the 2 of them on top of each other. So we'll put this one with the feet down, and then we'll stack the other one on top of it so they're too high, which works great. But the problem with putting casters on the bottom of them is that I couldn't do that anymore. I wouldn't be able to stack them on top of each other, because then I'd have one with casters on top of another with casters, and that's an accident waiting to happen. So what I'm actually going to do is, I've seen this on a lot of other subwoofers and stuff, especially like powered subs and stuff like that. For example, the ETX 18SPs, those have casters on the back, which sounds kind of odd at first, especially when it comes to packing it up in a trailer and things like that. But the casters on the back allow you to take this cab, flip it onto its back, and then with the woofers facing up, you wheel them around and put them in and out of the trailer with the woofers facing up. I will probably cover them. I'll get some, maybe a blanket or something like that to cover them while they're in the trailer with the woofers facing up, so I don't get stuff down in the ports or stuff down into the woofer area itself. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put the casters on the back, and I guess I'll just show you guys as I go along and put them on there, and then we'll see how it does. Worst thing that happens is I take them back off. It's just 4 screws per caster, and then we just pop it back off if for whatever reason I don't like it. But if I put them on the back, that still allows me to stack them on their sides and not have to worry about anything. It allows me to stack them on top of each other and not have to worry anything. The only problem then is I have the casters sticking out the back, but they're only a couple inch casters. Let me show you here. They're not that big. I didn't get really big ones. These are what they look like. I thought about getting 2-3 inch casters, but they get really expensive, number one. And number two, I didn't want them to be, just massive casters sitting there on the back of these things, especially when I don't really need the massive casters. They're only 100 pounds, and especially split between 4 of these, nowhere near any kind of weight limits on these. But I think these will work out well. So it'll take you long. I'm going to put these on real quick, and you'll just be fast forwarded through it. But I'm going to put these on real quick, and then we'll see how they work, see how they move around, and then we'll probably get them loaded up into the trailer. So stick with me.
You might be the one taking me home. One thing really do want. See that you're the worst, but I don't know. Is that true? We both feel the silence with things they think they know. Baby, that's why I just.
So just a little side note here. I have 2 casters with the locks on them, the brakes on them, and then I have 2 without. So the purpose of that, I'm going to put 2 of the ones with locks on one side, and then the other 2 without locks will be on the other side. So like when I push it up into the trailer, I should have the 2 with locks like facing me right there. I think that'll work the best. It's kind of how my road cases are. But I also have another road case that has them on both corners, which may be a good thing as well. But the problem is when I put them up into the trailer, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to both. So I'm going to think on that real quick and then make a decision. I may end up going opposite corners. That way the thing won't roll around. Because if I have them on one side, that other side could roll around too, back and forth. So, you know, I think you talked me into it. I'm going to go 1 on each corner. All right, there's 2 down. So I got the locking one right here, locking one here, so we can lock it like that, and then, oh, I fingered it. It locks like that, and it won't spin. It's got a brake on the spin as well, and it's got a brake on the wheel, so it does both. This one is just a single caster. I'm gonna put the other locking one on that bottom corner down there, and then the other static one down there, so that way we have a locking one on both corners to keep this thing from moving around in the trailer. So there's 4 out of 4 on those casters. Let's get it flipped down here and see how well it rolls around.
It's paradise with a nasty.
Oh yeah. Gonna be easy one-handed operation. Lock that wheel there. Spin it over here. Lock this wheel. So now, all 4 wheels are locked. And it's not going anywhere. Well, that's not too bad at all. All right, so there we go. That's the modification we're gonna make today. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other sub. And yeah, do the same thing to the other sub, and then we'll get them rolled up into the trailer so that I can get these things ready for tomorrow. So actually, one more thing that we're going to do here while we're on the topic of these subwoofers is I've got a corner cap here that has been bent. As you can see there, that side's supposed to look like that one there, nice and flat. Get focus on it there. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. You can see it's been pretty scraped up. These subwoofers have been well used, but this one here is not what it's supposed to be. You can see it's been bent. What happened is it got caught on something. Let me get the focus there. It got caught on something and bent it out. So we are going to try and fix that. So the first thing I want to do is I don't want to break this. I don't want this to snap off right here because I know it's been bent back and forth already a couple times. So I'm going to scrape some of the paint off real quick and put it in the vise, and then we're going to heat it up to try and normalize that metal a little bit so it doesn't get too brittle on us. And then we will get the old trusty hammer out, and then we'll get it back into shape to get that thing back on the sub. And I'll put a new screw in it because the screw broke on this side here. So anyway, let me heat this thing up and take you along.
breathe me in and let me go. Sing to your heart to find you.
Alright, we'll let that cool off for a little bit. Let it kind of normalize. You see I got it pretty red hot there. It looks like we may already have a little bit of a stress concentration on that upper side there, but that's okay. We'll let that cool down, and then we'll come back and heat it up again, let it cool down, and then we'll work on bending it. We'll heat it back up, then we'll bend it back while it's still warm as well. Alright, so we're back here. It's cooled down quite a bit. Still a little warmth to it, but it's not bad. Added a little backlight there so you could see a little bit better, I think. So let's heat her back up and let's see if we can bend it back out a little bit.
Till you're blinded by the lights, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start looking as a lost control of this paradise with honesty.
Alright, got her glowing pretty good. Hit the device, just tap it down. Alright, bend it out a little bit more. I'm gonna have to kind of take it out of the vise and put it on the platter there or take it out of the vise, put it on the anvil here to get it really like I need it. There we go. That's actually pretty close. I can't touch it because that's still pretty hot, but yeah, there's the side we bent back. Still got a little curve to it, but once again, this is a corner cap, so I just at least wanted to make sure it stayed on there. So once this cools down, I'll let it cool in the anvil here. Once it cools down, I'm gonna repaint it black, put it back on. Wedding tomorrow is at the Parkersburg Arts Center, downtown Parkersburg. So they have an elevator and stuff like that because this is up on the 3rd floor where the banquet hall is. So this will be nice to just roll them into the elevator and head up and then call the elevator when we get up there. Don't have to worry about dollying and stuff like that. It makes it a little bit nicer just to be able to grab these and growl. So this will be all right. I'm going to try this out for a little while. I don't know how long, but if I decide I don't like it, I mean, I put the drill in reverse, pop all 4 of them off, and I'm right where I was. So these casters, like I said, were pretty cheap. They weren't too expensive. I didn't really want to buy super expensive ones, super big ones, things like that, because I didn't want them getting in the way. Because even now, when I tip this sub up on its side, the casters kind of have to kick to the side, which I couldn't put them too far in because then I couldn't get to the brake. So it's kind of a compromise there. So they kind of have to kick to the side, which isn't a big problem. but I could see how bigger ones could be even more of an issue with that. So that's why I went with what I went with. So anyway, these look pretty cool. We're going to run with this, and then I think this is going to be it for this gig log, because it's not really much of a gig log, just an equipment modification. I've got more coming. So I've got, Alec has a couple RGB UV bars from Ecstatic that the DMX doesn't work on. So I'm going to get those on the workbench here whenever he gives them to me, and we're going to figure out what's wrong. I'll take you through my troubleshooting process, and hopefully it's just something unplugged. But these kind of things can happen to anyone, so it might be nice for someone to see if they have a similar problem where the DMX doesn't work on a light of theirs. So I've got some other RGB PARs that have some issues as well. They're set aside in there, so I'm going to get those out as well, and I'm going to probably try to fix all of them at once in one video for you guys. So, but anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. It was pretty simple, but sometimes these things can make a difference to someone. So thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm up to 250 some subscribers now, which I didn't start this thing to make a ton of subscribers. I started it so that somebody out there, if they found this interesting, could see what I was doing and maybe help somebody along the way if they found a problem with a piece of equipment or something like that, and I had dealt with it before, and make it easier on them. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.